Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan, for round 44 OC 2019 season, the third time we've been here in Azerbaijan, the second of 5 street circuits on the OC calendar, and also the fourth time it's hosted an OC race, and the first ever race at this circuit hosting the European Grand Prix. It's also the only track on the calendar to be below sea level and has the longest straight in the OC calendar. So far, 2 teams have won here over the past few seasons, Red Bull winning twice and Ferrari winning once. So of course with that huge long front straight there, as you can see, 51 laps, a circuit length of 6.003 kilometers, 20 corners, the lap record set by Joel Hutter, what a driver he was, a 1:36.797. So far, 3 different teams have won here, of course, this season, I should say. But speaking of winners, I should say winner in Baku, it's been Amar Khan, who's won every race so far we've been to Baku. He is the king of the castle. And the big question is, can someone take that crown away from him? We're going to find out. The tyres we're using, of course, will be the soft tyres. But as I was saying, of course, 3 different teams winning so far this season. First of all, Red Bull, second Mercedes, and then Ferrari last round, with Joseph Willows winning there. Pre-practice results, as you can see, it was Mercedes, Amar Khan yet again, proving himself king of the castle. But however, that was only practice. Now this is the starting grid for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and on the front row it is Amar Khan, who would have guessed, alongside Miklos Gal, second for Red Bull, so good chance Miklos Gal to get his first win of the season. On row 2 we have the 2 Ferraris of Laura Chung and Joseph Willows. Willows will want to try and get himself into title contention. On row 3 we have Franco Lopez for Mercedes and Rodo Moitian, 6th for Racing Point. He's had a good start to the season so far. Franco Gamma, disappointing 7th position for Red Bull, alongside the sister car of Matteo Catalan for Toro Rosso. On row 5 of the group we have George Roque for Racing Point and Gabriel Gomez 10th for Alfa Romeo. So good qualifying by both those 2 drivers. On row 6 we have Paolino Tomaselli for McLaren, who took an unbelievable podium last time out in China, with Chris Chatfield alongside him in 12th. Row 7 we have Evan Byrne for Renault, or the 2 Renaults I should say, Evan Byrne and Jamie Mackenzie. A 3/10 gap between the 2 of them. Row 8 we have Kirosa de Rosa for McLaren and David Kupok for Toro Rosso. Row 9 we have the 2 Williams who have actually qualified relatively high for once. Lean Campana 17th with Felix Sonntag 18th on the grid. On the 10th row of the grid we have Maxim Titkov for Mana and Andrea Federi, not a good qualifying by him, on the 10th row of the grid on 20th. And on the last row of the grid we have the Jared Fosbury era still yet to begin, and Rosetta Martinez last for Mana. And weather-wise, it will be a wet race. 50% chance of rain, 55%. So it's going to be pretty, well, it's going to be light but heavy in parts. So this could be very, very interesting to see how this race goes. But it is wet, as you can see, very wet. But the question is, can Khan keep his crown for a 4th year in a row? Can he really keep his crown and be the king of Baku yet again? As we now have 5 lights coming on for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And we're underway, and it's going to be a fairly long jump, particularly in these in the wet conditions in these cars. Who's going to take the lead in the first corner? It looks like Car has made a pretty good start, and as they head towards the first corner, and I don't think Gal, as he does a late launch down the inside, is going to take the lead. I think Car has got it round the outside, and the answer is yes, he has. Car will keep the lead as they head through the first corner, and now into turn 2. A few 90-degree corners at this moment in time to start off this lap. Pretty basic, but Gal tried to make it on the inside there, but couldn't make it stick. Now as they come through, so far they've all got through cleanly. Car leading, but Gal, I thought he was trying to make a move on Car. Chung ahead of Willows. Can Gal make a move coming into the next corner? The answer is no, he can't. He's too far away. So there's Chung, there's Willows. Behind Frankie Gamma's actually, I think, moved up to 6th. He's made a good start. And oh my word, Catalan is out. There's a Force India out and a McLaren. There's been a huge pile up. Oh my word, what on earth has happened here? There's 3 cars out. Roque is out. There's a Toro Rosso out as well. And I believe, who is that? I think it is Catalan, I think, is out. Fosbury's stuck behind, but what on earth has happened there? 3 cars out. Catalan is out. Roque is out. McLaren is out. I believe that is of... Oh, and Fosbury's now got damage as well. But, oh my word, what on earth happened here? And Gomez is out as well. So that's 4 cars out on the first lap. The wet conditions here at Baku already causing chaos. And I believe that was actually Tomaselli was the McLaren. So what on earth happened here? So this is the onboard. This is Catalan on the inside of George Roque for 8th position, and Catalan was on the inside, and does he make... Oh, he gets hit from behind. Gomez hit Catalan, who then went into Roque, and Tomaselli got involved as well. This is on board from Gomez, who was trying to squeeze past on the inside of Tomaselli, and just launched it into the corner, just go straight into Catalan. Roque had absolutely nowhere to go. Tomaselli unfortunately got caught up in it as well, just to compound his misery after having such a good race as well. But Gomez, what on earth was he thinking? That's got to be a slam dunk penalty, and unfortunately Tomaselli didn't really have anywhere else to go either. But oh my word, so what happened to Gomez? And he got hit. Oh, he got hit by the Renault. So that's why Gomez went out. So that was by the Irishman Evan Byrne. So coming through towards the end of the first sector, he just goes into the back of him, although he probably didn't know that Gomez had damage. But Federi, looking at him in the Alfa Romeo, looking at all this chaos that's happened. So you can see there's Gomez off, there's the wheel, and I think he got damage from that, Federi. So double whammy for Alfa Romeo there. So it looks like Federi has to go into the pits as well. Fosbury, obviously, as we saw from earlier, had damage too. So absolute chaos here on the first lap in recognition. But meanwhile, this is Laura Chung trying to get past Miguel Escal for second position, coming down towards the first corner. It's a long way to the first corner, and Chung is way alongside, and I think she's already passed Gal before the first corner, and the answer is yes, she is, and she takes the fastest lap. But Gal's going to try and get back on the inside and take P2 back. Can he do it? The answer is no, he can't. Meanwhile, Willers is being overtaken by Lopez into turn 1, and Gamma might try and take advantage as well and pass as well, but can't quite make it stick there. But Lopez getting ahead of Willers for 4th position. There's Boyd in 7th. There's Chatfield, actually. Chatfield's been good, so he's moved up to 9th position, actually, so he's into the points. De Rossa, meanwhile, in 8th. Cupoc's also made a great start. He's up to 10th position. He's moved up 6 positions from all that chaos. Meanwhile, this is Gamba trying to get past Joseph Willows, and he's unable to do it. But now that onto the back straight, this is the battle for the lead. This is Laura Chung trying to get past Armar Kar. She's trying to go for her first win of the season and to try and dethrone Armar Kar and become the queen of Baku. Chung already passed Kar by the time they head over the finish line, and she is going to take the lead. And once again, another fastest lap, this time 1:57. About the time the F2 cars would do around here, and Kar relinquishes his lead. Meanwhile, Lopez on the inside of Gal for 3rd. He's through as well. And meanwhile, Lopez defending from Gamba. Meanwhile, De Rossa trying to get past Moichin into the first corner. Unable to do so, so he has to wait once again. But we're having a look on board, actually, from Franco Lopez's PFE. See how he made the move stick on Miguel Gal. So he's... Oh, look at this. You don't see many moves done around that corner, particularly with the way that Kirk would just launch you into the castle. But he failed to make it there, Lopez. But then he still had the slipstream coming onto the front straight, and it was going to be very easy to do in the DRS. And going all the way up to well over 200 miles an hour, 330 kilometers an hour, through on the inside, just very, very easy for Lopez. That Mercedes power doing him the trick, and he moves past the Red Bull of Gal up into 3rd position. So that's a good move by Lopez. Now he'll see if he can go after the front two, so go after his teammate Carl just in front of him, and then maybe even Laura Chung. We shall see. But things have obviously now calmed down a little bit at this moment in time. But looking at the top 10 there, Chatfield trying to get some points for Haas. David Cupoc made a great start as well. Actually, Felix Sontag actually has moved up quite a few positions too. Meanwhile, Joseph Willows all over the place, really struggling to keep the car on the circuit. Gamba trying once again to make the move through past Willows, and I think he might be past him now. Is he? Yes, no, and no he isn't actually. He has to stick behind him. That could allow Roland Moichin to make a move as well, of course, but now Gamba's in the slipstream of Willows, but Moichin is there too, so Gamba needs to be very careful here of what he decides to do. He's now on the inside of Joseph Willows, coming down the front straight. You can probably have a cup of coffee by the time you get to the first corner. That's how long it is. But Gamma's unable to make it yet, but now he's just get back in the slipstream of the Ferrari. He's going to make a move on the inside into turn 1. He's going to go for it. Yes, going to attempt to. It's close, but Willows just about keeps the position there. But I mean, was there any contact from Gamba originally when trying to pass Willows, or was it just Willows' mistake? And no, the answer is it was just simply his own mistake. And I thought Gamba would have had the momentum to carry him through there and make the move stick, but obviously not. Willows managing to keep the run around the outside of the corner there and keep the position, but that's probably not going to last very long. Now we're back on it. Gamba once again going to try and make the move. Moichin there just hanging in the distance. Meanwhile, you can see Lopez is closing up to the back of Armar Kar for 2nd place. Meanwhile, Chung is checked out. She's 2 seconds ahead. Gamba just doesn't quite have the power to get past the Ferrari, and now is he going to do it to turn 1? Surely this has got to be it right now, and the answer is yes. Just doesn't quite have the speed down the straights, the Red Bulls. It's one of their main weaknesses. So Gamba eventually managing to make the move stick past, but Willis is really struggling now. This is the battle for P2. This is Lopez trying to get past Armar Kar. Clearly Kar not having the pace at this moment in time that he probably would have wished for. So now Lopez on the inside, and Kar's not really going to put up much of a defence. Lopez side by side with his British teammate, and he's going to make a move into the first corner. this should be very easily done, and there we go. So the gap Chung to Lopez was about 3.5 seconds. You could just see Chung going into turn 2 in the distance there. Meanwhile, Franco Gamba actually, now he's free from Willows, actually sets the fastest lap. But as we look now at the Mercedes of Lopez, who's now going to try and go after Laura Chung, and meanwhile Federi is getting a little bit out of shape there, coming through onto the front straight. That could have been very, very scary indeed, but fortunately he kept it away from the walls and no damage done there. Meanwhile, we're looking at this replay once again. You can see it's very sketchy, and could have easily lost control and gone into the wall there, but fortunately he didn't and kept it on the road. Meanwhile, Franco Lopez now sets the fastest lap. Now he'll go after Laura Chung, but now Franco Gamba sets another fastest lap in the Red Bull, so Gamba really is quick, it seems. Meanwhile, this is the battle for 7th place. This is De Rossa, who's been following Moitian ever since the start. He's now trying to make a move on the inside, going into turn 1. He's not quite got the power. Will he make the dive into the first corner? He does, and De Rossa is through, past him into 6th place. Meanwhile, Willows there really struggling in front, so De Rossa might even try and make a move on Willows down the next straight. He is close enough, so meanwhile Gamba trying to make it on the inside of Gal, but Gal defends very vigilantly there. As you can see, Chung, but you can see Lopez is gaining on her lap by lap. Meanwhile, this is Joseph Willows coming in towards the castle section, definitely struggling with his car, that is for sure. He's dropped way off Gamba. Look at that, 12 seconds. That is ridiculous. That just shows the pace that Gamba has, and shows the lack of pace that Willows has. He's got a heavy fuel, which does explain it, and Gamba's on light fuel, so he's pitting now. And I wouldn't imagine he'd do the 3-stop. There's just not enough laps to do the 3-stop here. There's a pit call also for Laura Chung, actually. She's going to be pitting next lap as well. And there was one other one I think I saw. Couldn't quite tell who it was because it just went off the screen quickly there. But Gamba's in 17, so it's not going to be a huge amount. So, I mean, it could be interesting to see. I think he might go long at the end, which will be interesting to see if it does work or not. But you have to deal with traffic unless he gets out ahead of Felix Sontag, which I don't think he will. Nope, Sontag's going to go through. But that'll only be one car. Apart from that, Gamba's got a pretty nice gap to show his pace. Meanwhile, Laura Chung now comes in for her first stop of the race. Took the lead from the start, and no surprise, Gabriel Gomez has received a 10-place grid penalty for causing the lap 1 instance. No surprise. I mean, I would have been surprised if he didn't get anything really for taking out 3 cars, and then I suppose Byrne taking him out. But yeah, just an unbelievable lunge he made. I just couldn't believe he quite did it, to be honest. It's just never going to work. And it was actually Miklos Gal that was the other car that has come into the pits. So Chung now goes out, and she will come out behind Joseph Willows, which will not please her particularly because Willows is not very quick. So now Chung actually will have to deal with this traffic. She would have really wished that she probably would have come out ahead of Willows, De Rossa and Moitian here, but she hasn't. So coming ahead of Chris Chatfield. And meanwhile, Gamba now trying to get past Sontag into the first corner. And Franco Gamba does make it up the inside and finally past the Williams. And he is ahead of Gal. I can't remember if he was behind Gal before the stop or not. I'm not sure, but he's still ahead. He's ahead of him nonetheless. Meanwhile, this is the battle for P3 essentially. This is De Rossa trying to go past Willows on the 1 stop. Meanwhile, Chung is going past the racing point of Roland Moitian. De Rossa on the inside, and is he through? I'm not sure, but meanwhile Chung has passed Moitian for 5th. So, and Franco Gamba once again showing space, setting yet another fastest lap. So it could play into his hands really, but he needs to get to these guys very quickly. Meanwhile, this is now Laura Chung on the back of De Rossa, who's still stuck behind Willows, and De Rossa trying to make it through on the inside of Willows, and will Chung have to slip back into the slipstream. And so will she try and make another move on De Rossa for the first corner? This is going to be very... Oh, this is not going to end well. Chung is going to go around the outside, I think, of De Rossa into the first corner. Is she going to make it stick? I'm not sure. And no, she isn't. So you could just sense that could have gone badly wrong. Meanwhile, Chris Chatfield for Haas is in the pits for his first stop of the race. At the moment, Lopez still going. He's not pitting for a few laps yet, so of course he'll be doing, it looks like it's going to be the 2-stop. But Chris Chatfield so far actually has done a pretty good job. Avoided all the trouble and is doing it, and we'll see if he has a good chance of getting a points finish here today. You know, this is Franco Gamba trying to get past the sister Toro Rosso of David Kupok. Now he's on the inside. Is he through? He's surely going to have the speed and going to go around the outside. Is he this through the next one? Is he? No, not quite. So Gamba will want to get past Kupok ASAP. not get held up in this traffic. Although Gamba's got an unbelievable run off the corner there, and it's just gone clean around the outside of Q-Pop, unless Q-Pop can keep the run through and go around the outside himself, and the answer is no, he can't. Gamba is through. Now he's got clear air. Now he can try and close up to the Ferraris in front of him. But you could just see the amount of grip that Gamba had there. Just went clean round the outside of Q-Pop. Probably thought he had him covered off, but he didn't. And Gamba said thank you very much and took the position. Now that means he won't have Gal to worry about behind him. Meanwhile, this is Chung once again trying to get past De Rossa, who himself is trying to get past Willows. Chung on the inside, but I think De Rossa might just about be in the slipstream of Willows, although Chung's still on the inside. I think he's quite close enough to the back, but Chung is through up to 4th, so this will be the move into the first corner. And Chung is on the inside. Willows is again all over the place in that Ferrari, but Chung now finally does get past De Rossa, already on the back of Willows, who went very slowly through the first corner there. And he's just moving about all over the road, trying to get some grip in those tyres. Chung will want to get through Willows because he's holding her up at this moment in time and he's not doing her any favours. De Rossa there still sticking behind. I wonder where Gamma is. I wonder how far Franco Gamma is. But now Chung might try and make it through here, and the answer is yes, she will. She'll go past Willows even before the main straight. But now Willows might try and attempt to get back, but surely he won't because he's just struggling terribly on those tyres. But he's going to actually have a go. He's going to try and get back past Laura Chung into the first corner. This is not going to please her one little bit as they head towards turn 1. Willows alongside Laura Chung. The battle for P3. And Willows, will he get it back? The answer is, I think he might. And the answer is, I think, has he? No. Yes, he has. And he does get the position back. And Chung now might even get passed by De Rossa as well. And, oh, that's not good. Oh, and Chung is off. And Chung is out. And, whoo, there's going to be some words said in the Ferrari briefing after this race. She is not going to be happy. So Laura Chung now out of this race, and that has handed the initiative to the 2 Mercedes as well of Lopez and Carr. But Laura Chung, she will be fuming. She thought she'd finally got past Willows, who had been a bus driver all this race, and then Willows gets her back, and then has De Rossa all over her back, tries to overtake, goes wide in the wet conditions, and crash. So you really got a feel for her there. She will be unbelievably angry, I would say. Yeah, but pit calls wise, David Kupok I could see was coming to the pits. Byrne is in, Martinez is in. Now finally Chung's car gets moved away, and we'll obviously see a replay again of the incident. And here we go. So this is Willows getting past Chung into the first corner, which is bad enough. And then we'll see obviously De Rossa, who had a run because Chung got held up from Willows passing her. There's just not enough room there, and De Rossa tried to make a move on the inside. There wasn't any contact made, but De Rossa was going to go for it. There was almost contact made, but it just forced Chung wide. It spooked her, and she went off into the wall. So you really got to feel for her there. She had a good chance of taking her first ever OC win. Unfortunately, that has not happened now, and she is out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Franco Gamba now closing up to the back of Roland Moitin, going to try and make a move on the racing point, heading towards the first corner, and I don't think he can quite do it. He's not quite got enough power, although will he do a late dive? The gap is there, and is he going to go for it? The answer is no. The gap has closed, and yep, he can't make a stick there. Meanwhile, Carr at the moment running in second, De Rossa in fourth, but Gamba actually now still going to make a move on the inside of Moitin into the next corner. Moitin goes wide, and this is the move done for Gamba, I think, and yes, he is through. Moves up into 5th place there. I thought that move was over, but Moitin going to try and get back at the inside of Franco Gamba, and he's going to go for it. And is he through? The answer is yes. Is he? No. I think Gamba might have the run around the outside, and yes, he keeps the position there. So good driving there between the two. Now Gamba already on the back of De Rossa and Willows, who of course is still going around. But Gamba wants to get past these guys very quickly. He's going to make it 3 wide coming down the front straight. Is he going to surely get through both cars? No, not quite. He's almost there. He almost goes into the back of De Rossa, but he's through past De Rossa, so he's got past one of them. Will he get past 2 into the first corner? The answer is no, and De Rossa gets the position back. And wow, that was great racing there. But fair play to De Rossa. He is really getting stuck in here. You can see De Rossa trying to do the inside, and oh my word, how was there not contact there? I have no idea. But Willows once again locking up all over the place. Just can't get a grip on that car. Can't sort out the rear end. It's squiggling about all over the place. And yeah, so Willows almost drifting through the corner nearly. He just can't keep the car on the road. It's only going to be a matter of time. Meanwhile, I think Gamba finally passing De Rossa actually now for 4th. So he'll go after Willows. This should be like taking candy from a baby. this move on Willows. It should not be very hard at all to do, but we'll see if he's able to do it or not. Meanwhile, we're looking at Franco Lopez, who is now pitting for his first stop of the race. He at the moment is leading from Amar Kar in second position. So it looks pretty good for Mercedes right now with the positions they're in, but also obviously Kar wants to win because he wants to keep his 100% record. 4 wins in Baku would be great. Meanwhile, Gamba now trying to make a move on the inside of Willows here just before the castle section. He was never going to work. The gap was just not quite open. And so we'll see what happens coming through the castle section if Gamba gets a good run off the corner. Gap Lopez to Kar about 9.4 seconds. Actually now up to 9.8. So he's coming into the pits now, and I don't think Kar's pitted either. So it's going to be interesting to see what the 2 Mercedes actually do decide to do. So as Lopez coming towards the pits, it just seems like an eternity, particularly in these wet conditions. Sweeps over to the left and now going into the pits for his first stop of the race. And here we go. So it's going to be a 2-stop. And it'll be on light fuel as well for this stint, probably lighter than he had before. So that will help, and that will increase his pace. I think it was still Franco Gamba who was the fastest driver at this moment in time. So Lopez, and yep, about the amount of fuel that I thought he put in, so he'll be pitting about the lap 40 mark. Probably about 38, 39, so that'll be enough for him to get to the end. It'll be pretty quick as well. So he relinquishes the lead to Kar, the king of Baku. I'm not going to keep repeating that over and over again because it's probably going to get quite tiresome. Meanwhile, this is... Oh, and Franco Gamba has actually got past Willows, and my prophecy came true. So coming off the corner, and Gamba just got a much better run and got past Willows just like that. And what do you know? I actually called it. I would say commentator's curse, but well, you could call it that if you want. But well, if you're a Willows fan, but if you're a Franco Gamba, you'll be very happy about that. And he's through, passing Willows for P3. So that is good news for Franco Gamba. He's in a pretty much an assured P3 at this moment in time, with Willows still going around on that 1 stop. But Willows under pressure will be under pressure from De Rossa behind me. While Chatfield running on his own in P9, but just keeping himself to himself. There's Kupok as well, in 10th in the lower reaches of the points. There's Byrne down there in 16th. There's Titkoff last, pretty much. We'll see if Byrne can get anything out of this race. Meanwhile, Amar Kar now finally comes into his first stop of the race. So we'll see. Well, he's going to be on the 2-stop, obviously. He'll come up behind Franco Lopez, but the question is, will he be able to close up? Because he'll be on slightly fresher tyres, but fresher tyres in wet conditions certainly can prove a bigger difference than you would think. So Kar comes in, changes all 4 tyres, and of course he'll be pitting once more, pitting just slightly after Franco Lopez did. So it looks to be a battle between the 2 Mercedes for the win, but Franco Gamba, not sure how many more laps he's got to go before he pits. Meanwhile, De Rossa once again trying a move on Willows. He's been stuck behind Willows for so long, and would he finally do it? Willows is really not letting him through very easily at all, so it's not going to happen yet, and this could go on for quite a while. Meanwhile, crucially, Amar Kar does come out ahead of Joseph Willows. This is very important for him. Although Willows is there, this could be close, but Kar crucially does come out ahead, and that was important for him, because if he didn't, then that would have all but handed the race win to his teammate there, to his teammate Franco Lopez. Meanwhile, Roland Moitin is in for his latest stop, and he is not going very far in this amount of fuel as well, as he's going very light too, which is interesting. I suppose it will make a difference because later on, of course, if you go later on, I suppose you might have less chance to make the overtakes. You'll have fresher tyres, but I suppose think yourself, is it really worth it? Don't know. But he does come out, it looks like, just behind Chris Chatfield in the Haas. Meanwhile, Franco Lopez at this moment in time leading this race. Franco Gamba in second, Amar Kar in third. Battle there between Lean Campana and Andrea Federi there for 12th. And so Federi, I think he's just about in the slipstream of the Williams, so I wonder if he can make a move coming in towards the first corner. And as we look at Franco Gamba at the moment in second position, he's going to be pitting in a few laps' time. I don't think he'll bother trying to go to the end. I think that would be a bit too much of an ask for him, but you never know. He could do, because if he does, he could still be with a chance of winning the race. So it'll be interesting to see what the team do decide to do with him. It would be tough, but I mean, would it be worth it? I don't know. But oh, and Willows has had contact from De Rossa behind. He's gone into the wall. Is he out? Yes, Willows is out, and it was just bound to happen eventually. Willows just being really slow on that amount of fuel load he had, and unfortunately he is out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. You could just see that having a De Rossa actually was pitting this lap anyway, and Willows just going a little bit too slow for his liking. So the incident between the two nose fries will be under investigation. We'll see what the stewards decide to do about that. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's just probably one of those things. I'm not sure if they'll give a penalty for that or not, but we'll have to wait and see But De Rossi himself was coming to the pits this lap anyway. That frees Miguel's Gal as there's Willis's car still trundling down the hill and finally makes a stop at the end of the hill. Of course, this being the only tracks on the calendar to be below sea level. Baku itself called the City of Winds because apparently it's a very windy city. Felix Sonntag at the moment in time running in actually 6th position, so Felix Sonntag will be getting very giddy at the fact that he's running in 6th. Meanwhile, Roland Boyton trying to get past. Oh, that was trying to pass the Haas of Chatfield there. He's moving about all over the road, and he's really not making it easy for Moichin, and he'd probably be giving him some sort of finger for this, because he was just moving about all over the place. It could have resulted in a bad accident there. He will not be happy with the way Chatfield drove there, defending his position. But anyway, we look at Franco Gamma now coming in for another stop. So will he go to the end? I mean, he could, if he got a lap or so later, he could have gone to the end. But we'll see. Does he go to the end? And the answer is no, he doesn't. I think he could have easily gone to the end. I would have personally tried going to the end, really, because then he would have been probably even with a shout of winning the race. But it's not going to happen for Franco Gamma today, because he could have been on the 3-stop, whereas the other guys in front of him only had to pit once more, and he's already pitted. So I don't know, but I don't think it's going to happen for him. But meanwhile, Miklas Gal also coming into the pits on the same lap, and the crew have just about got out in time. I think, would he be delayed? No, that was perfect timing. Well, you could call it the double stack in very loose terms, but it worked for them. So Gal comes out as well. So it worked out pretty well for Red Bull that stop. Meanwhile, Felix Sonntag coming to the pits for another stop. He's had a great race so far, gone under the radar. Meanwhile, Roland Moichin finally clear of him. Now Chatfield defending very vociferously from De Rossa behind him. Yet again, Sonntag, who's actually pitting quite early, still had quite a few laps left of fuel to go. So clearly, maybe changing onto a different compound of wets. So we'll see actually what fuel they put into his car. Surely he's not going to go to the end, is he? And 10:20, and yes, he is actually. So he is going to go to the end. So makes me think, why didn't why didn't Gamba or Gal, or both even, why didn't they both try and go to the end? They could have tried what I'll now call a Sonntag, but Sonntag at the moment in time will come out in the points, will come out in 10th position. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes for Sonntag, and it's a good stuff for him as well. Meanwhile, Armour Car still in P2 at this moment in time. I don't know if he's closing up to Lopez or not, what the gap is between the two. And I think it's about 16 seconds. I'm not sure actually if Carl's really closing the gap or not. But meanwhile, Chris Chatfield really defending once again from De Rossa, is being severely held up. And Miklas Gal is here as well, trying to get past this traffic as well. And De Rossa actually himself, who actually is going to be going to the end, I just realised. He's on 27 laps of fuel, so he's going to go to the end. So it's important for him as he actually De Rossa launches himself off the curb there. Chatfield not making it easy, and is there going to be more contact made around this corner? Because he made it with Willis before. None this time round, but he's got a better exit off the corners. We've got a yellow flag out the track somewhere, and it's David Kupok who's out. David Kupok is out of the race. He was running in the lower reaches of the top 10, running I think just about inside of the points, but he's going to be getting nothing from this race. So what happened to him? It looks, I mean, I don't know, it could be a failure. It's a bit of an unusual place to crash, so I guess we'll find out right about now what the problem was for him. And it was, oh, he did crash out by himself. Oh wow. So Kupok is going to be pitting once more before the end. He was going to be on the 2-stop, and coming through here, gets on the curb, slides over, and then goes into the wall. So a very unfortunate mistake there from David Kupok, which means unfortunately he doesn't get any points from this race. I didn't actually see in the background because we could see the battle between De Rossa, Chatfield and Gal there. We just couldn't quite see it because I was focusing on that battle, but just coming around the corner at that exact time, and then that was it for Kupok. His race was done. So there we go, his race is over. Meanwhile, we're going back to this battle for P5. This is between Chatfield, De Rossa and Miklas Gal. And De Rossa once again squeezing on the inside of Chatfield and finally managed to make the move stick, and Gal unable to make it stick there. But whew, I've never seen any driver make a move through that corner. That is quite unbelievable. But De Rossa was getting through there whether Chatfield liked it or not, and Chatfield just about managing to keep it away from the wall, and Chatfield himself is going to be pitting once more before the end. But let's just see how close he was. You can see coming through, didn't expect it, and look how close he is. Almost going through the Pirelli sign there, but managing to keep it away from the hardwall. So Chatfield continues. He has another life there, So meanwhile, Gal trying desperately to get past Chatfield, who really is moving about all over the place. How there wasn't contact there yet again, that was just unbelievably close. And Chatfield really not making it easy. He's really defending for his life, wants to show what he can do. And De Rossa in front, I think, made a little mistake, I'm pretty sure. And you can see them moving about all over the place. So there it was, moving that way. Then moved again. How there was no contact there, I've no idea. That was very, very dangerous. That could have ended very badly. Fortunately, it didn't. So as we look now at De Rossa, who I just saw ahead, made a little mistake into the first corner, goes wide and manages to keep it away from the wall. But having passed Chatfield, struggling for a bit of grip. But let's hope that he can carry on to the end and get himself a good result out of this race. But having been clear of Chatfield, who's almost trying to swipe out anyone who tries to pass him, I wonder if Gal will try to say him overtake that De Rossa just did. And he's going to go for it. He's on the inside, and this will be the move. And yep, Gal is through. This time Chatfield stays further away from the wall, but finally Gal makes it through past the swiping Chatfield, or the swipe field, however you want to call him. But I haven't seen that before, actually, that often when doing that kind of move on the straight. But I would not recommend. Meanwhile, this is Franco Lopez who's coming into his final stop of the race. Roland Moichin is coming in as well. I think that was there was one other driver that was coming in. I couldn't quite see who that was. But Lopez coming in, and so far I don't know what the gap is to car, but it looks to be pretty secure for Lopez to take his second victory of the season, and Mercedes' second as well. So as we look at cars, only just gone past, so it looks to be pretty good. And it was Jared Fosbury in the Haas that's going in for his final stop. And I don't know why I said Mercedes. I should say Mercedes' final stop, if I can actually get those words out. Meanwhile, Lopez comes out behind Franco Gamba, who could have been in with a chance of winning had he decided not to pit once more, but that's his choice anyway. Meanwhile, we're looking through the field. There's Sondog at the moment running in 9th for Dairy, still managing in 10th at this moment in time. Gal running on his own in 5th place, but Roland Moichin is coming in, so he's going to move up another position. Jared Fosbury in, unfortunately his season has not gone to plan at all. It's had a pretty awful start to the season. Really. There's no other way of putting it, really. But yeah, I mean, it's only been 4 races so far, so anything can change. Still got plenty of races left to go, but certainly not the start he would have wanted, that's for sure. Meanwhile, Maxime Titkov's going to be pitting this lap. He's running in 13th as he gets lapped by the Red Bull there, just before the castle section, and he nearly goes into the back of said Red Bull there. That was very close indeed. Fortunately, no damage done. Now Franco Lopez will be lapping these guys as well. Well, I say lapping these guys, lapping the manner of Titkov, and then he'll be overtaking Gamba. But De Rossa now up into 4th, Gal up into 5th, so Gamba, who's competing, I'm not sure what the gap is, though, between the guys at the front. Moichin comes out in 7th, so he's behind Chris Chatfield, everyone's favourite driver from this race. But as I said, Titkov is coming in as well. And I think was that Chatfield I saw that might be coming in this lap as well, I believe. As for Dairy, actually, is in the pits this lap too. There's a whole number of cars in. Titkov is in. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yep, Chatfield is coming in this lap, so Moichin won't have to deal with him for long, only for the half the lap. So look at Felix Sondag at this moment in time, running in a very good 10th position at this moment in time. We look through at Roland Moichin, who's right behind Chris Chatfield for 6th. Doesn't need to do anything stupid, and Chatfield doesn't need to do anything stupid either, so that there's no collisions made here. But Amar Carr himself is going to be pitting this lap. Meanwhile, Byrne is in, Chatfield has just come out of the pits, Carr is in, and De Rossa will receive a 10-second time penalty for causing the incident with car 97 Joseph Willows. So that will affect De Rossa's chances of getting possibly even a podium. And meanwhile, Franco Lopez trying to go around the outside of his fellow Franco down the front straight, and I think Franco Lopez is going to make the move into the first corner unless Gamba breaks late, and he doesn't, and just lets Franco Lopez through there. And so good move there by the Argentinian. He's through up into 2nd. Carr is actually now in the pits, so now make that P1 for Franco Lopez. So unless Carr is an absolute miracle on this stint, it's looking pretty good for Franco Lopez at this point to be winning this race. So as Carr comes out of the pits, he's going to be in 3rd position. Gamba, of course, will be relinquishing his 2nd when he goes into the pits soon. I still think it was a big mistake not to try and go to the end really, but I suppose he would have been passed by, he was passed by Lopez anyway, and probably would be passed by Carr, so yeah, but I don't know. It is what it is, I think. But Carr still comes out in P3, so at the very least he'll have that, but of course it will be P2. Meanwhile, Franco Lopez now going past the manor here of Rosetta Martinez, who's just running outside of the points at this moment in time, so Martinez will be wishing that he could be one place higher so he could get some points. Byrne down to 12th as well, so the reason why of course he's moved up is because Byrne has pitted, I should not forget. De Rossa of course will be behind Gal at this moment in time with that time penalty, of course 10 seconds that being. Chatfield in 9th, having had his last stop. There's Federi in 10th coming through the castle, and yeah, so we're looking through the rest of the order. Federi in 10th, so he's made a good recovery actually from where he was at the start. We've got a yellow flag out actually on the circuit, and Martinez, and Gamba's out! And Franco Gamba is out, incredibly, from the race, and you can guess what has happened there. They have had a collision coming through the castle section. Evan Byrne had to take a little bit of avoiding action there to avoid Martinez's car. And what happened here, so Gamba was behind Martinez coming through the castle, and then as they were coming through, Gamba just launched it down and has made contact with Martinez, taking himself and Martinez out of this race. And oh dear, Gamba will be kicking himself for that. It was something that he just didn't need to do really, and he has just cost himself a chance of the podium, and it won't do him very well in the points either. You'd probably have to say that's Franco Gamba's fault really. I don't think you can really blame Martinez in that at all, to be honest. But wow, cannot believe that has happened. What an unbelievable ending to this race with just 12 laps to go. Gamba, who would have had a podium in this race, Franco Gamba that is not going to get anything. So, at this moment in time, I say Mackenzie up to 6th, actually, for Renault. That's pretty good. Sontag in 7th. Very impressive for him. And I think, actually, might be going to the end. So, he might have actually done the one-stop Sontag. I didn't actually notice. But meanwhile, Carr in 2nd. He is way off Lopez. It's not going to happen for him. De Rossa, at this moment in time, is on the podium. But, of course, he has that 10-second time penalty for running into the back of Willows. So, he's not going to get the podium at this moment in time. It will be Gal's who will get it. So, it will be Gal's podium to lose, essentially. Unless Gal does a De Rossa to him, so we'll see. So Moichin in 5th. I'm not sure how far away he is from Gal. If he could possibly take 4th away. Chatfield at 7th. Mackenzie has come into the pits for his last stop of the race. So bit of good recovery from a number of drivers. Federi's in the points, having been in the wars early on. Byrne, who went into the back of Gomez as well. Meanwhile, Nicolas Gal now coming into the pits for his last stop of the race. So I don't think... No, I just realised, of course, De Rossa isn't going in, so this is important for Gal. This last stop, he needs to make sure the pit stop is good, and he has no traffic, and he puts the hammer down so he can just get within... As long as he's within 10 seconds, he doesn't need to worry about overtaking De Rossa. As long as he's within 10 seconds of the Polish driver, then he will have 3rd place secured. Roland Moichin is past. I'm not sure if actually if Moichin has to pit or not. I didn't see what his fuel was like, but at this moment in time... there's Mackenzie actually battling in 8th. This is Andrea Federi. A great recovery from the Italian going past Mackenzie, who I'm pretty sure actually just pitted as well. So this is a great overtake from Federi and a great recovery from him. He's set to take 8th position away from the pole, coming into the first corner, and he is going to make it stick, and he is through alongside past the Polish driver of Mackenzie. So he's down to 9th. And here we are looking at De Rossa at the moment in 3rd still, but it's not going to finish that way at the end of the race. And Moichin actually is still behind, so Moichin is not pitting again. So as a moment in time, Roland Moichin is set to take the podium, but of course Miguelas Gal is there. And meanwhile, Chatfield is now going past Felix Sontag. This is the battle for 6th, and Sontag just about holds it, but now Franco Lopez is about to lap both of these two. This is the battle for 6th position. Sontag has had a fantastic race. And so this was Chatfield trying to get past Sontag, of course. Sontag, who's done well on this stint. He's done only the one stop, and actually he's managed to keep the pace, so fair play to him. So Chatfield tried to make the move on Sontag, got a much better run, obviously, on fresher tyres, and Chatfield was through then. He had his nose in front, there was almost contact, but Sontag just had the run there and kept it. Meanwhile, Chatfield is going to go back past Franco Lopez, unlap himself into the first corner, which he does. And now he's going to once again try and go back after Sontag for 6th position, but Lopez is now going to try and unlap himself past lap himself past Chatfield again. Unable to do it then, so Lopez can just let these guys battle because he's well ahead of Carr, so he's got no danger behind him. So Meanwhile, Chatfield right behind Felix Sontag. This is the battle for 6th. Is he going to make the move coming into the next corner? Chatfield on the inside. And there's contact made. Sontag is wide. And he's in the wall. And Sontag is in the wall. Unfortunately, he's not out, but he's in the wall. And that is just, that is just incredibly harsh for Felix Sontag, who had such a good race. He was set to take a fantastic points position in the just under the top 5. And now he might not even get anything. I'm not sure. Here's between the two. Will be an investigation. Just the contact there. You could see that was going to happen a mile off. But, oh dear. Very unfortunate there for Felix Sontag. And you really got to feel for him. I don't think Chatfield got any damage. And meanwhile, Moichin has now passed De Rossa for 3rd position. So he's now up into 3rd. De Rossa is down to what is essentially 5th. Because Gal is there as well. So Roland Moichin is going to have a battle on his hand to try and keep 3rd position from his fellow Hungarian Gal, who is on the charge and on fresher tyres, so we'll see how that works out as well. But meanwhile, we're on the final lap of this race, and it looks like we're going to have a new king here at Baku, and it is going to be Franco Lopez. And there is Gal, you can see right behind Moichin. He has passed De Rossa, so De Rossa now is going to finish in a certain P5. I'm not sure, and Chatfield is way behind, so yeah, it will be P5 for De Rossa. I'll still be pretty happy with that. But Franco Lopez has had the edge over Carr this race, and you can see the gap now down to 20 seconds. Carr clearly quicker, but it doesn't matter. And Chatfield has received a 15-second time penalty because of the incident with Felix Sontag. So I wonder if that is going to impact his the gap where he's going to finish in the order. So Sontag has come in. I think he's come out still in the points, so he's in 10th, but it could have been so much more for Felix Sontag. So he'll be still pretty cheesed off at the fact that that's happened. So he's come out ahead of Jared Fosbury. This is the battle, meanwhile, for P3. This is Gal all over the back of Roland Moichin. This is the battle for the final podium spot between the two Hungarians. Gal on the inside of Roland Moichin into the first corner, heading towards the first corner. And this is surely going to be an easy move for Gal. I don't think Moichin can really put up much of a defence. Gal on the inside. Will Moichin hold it? He's going to attempt to. And I think will Moichin have the run off the corner? He's trying to keep alongside Gal, but I'm pretty sure Gal is going to have this move done. Is he? Maybe? No. Moichin's still trying to hold it. Meanwhile, Chatfield under pressure for 6th, so he definitely will not finish in 6th position. But meanwhile, we're looking at Franco Lopez coming through down the long front straight for the 51st and, of course, the final time. And he is going to win here in Baku. And Amar Kar, his win streak in Baku is up. Franco Lopez wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And a great performance by him as well. Meanwhile, coming up to the line, battle between Federi and Chatfield for 6th. Federi will take 6th anyway on the points penalty. And Jay McKenzie comes across the line in 8th, so he'll take 7th. So, I say points penalty, or yeah. And Gal has passed Moichin. He did pass him in the end for 3rd position. But yeah, the penalty, of course, for Chatfield coming into effect there. So meaning that he will drop down a couple of positions. He'll drop down to 8th. But this was the battle once again between Gal and Moichin. So Gal was on the inside there. Moichin was not going to let it slide though. He wanted to keep that podium spot, but Gal was so much quicker on the fresher tyres. But Moichin was still trying to keep the position coming down into turn 3. So Moichin was going to try and make the move back on Gal, as you can see in the slipstream. And Gal was defending. Moichin was not going to let it slide. And was there contact? There was contact between the two. And luckily, Gal did not go into the wall. Just imagine if he did. Imagine the scenes that would have happened there. But Amar Kar, he doesn't win in Baku. It will feel strange to him, being known as the king of Baku. But Evan Byrne, he'll be pretty happy with his recovery, getting 9th position. But Felix Sontag, you really have to feel for the guy. Should have had a 6th position at least. And unfortunately, has gotten absolutely nothing. I mean, he's got a point, but for him, that will feel like a punch to the heart. He will not be happy with that at all, considering where he could have finished. But he had a great performance on Tug, so at least he's got a point. It will mean nothing to him, but still a great performance from him nonetheless. And of course, De Rossa keeping P5 because he was the last car on the lead lap. Jared Fosbury will take 11th position. He will not be the last car to finish, but he's just been absolutely nowhere really. Once again, just not had a particularly good race. But meanwhile, Miklas Gal will come across the line and will take 3rd position. So that's probably that is the least he could have done really. He was not going to get much better than that, but at least he has got 3rd, so it is better than nothing. So as there's Moichin coming across the line in 4th, and just in the background there's Titcock coming across the line in 12th. There's De Rossa in 5th, and then Lean Campana. Of course, Lean Campana, I actually had totally forgotten about him. I had no idea that he'd been racing. He's just been so invisible really. But here are the full race results. So Ranko Lopez winning ahead of Armand Carr in second, Miglas Gau in third, Renault in fourth, De Ross finishing fifth despite his 10-second time bounty. Federi and McKenzie moving ahead of Chatfield, who dropped to 8th due to his 50-second time bounty. Byrne in 9th, Felix Sontag completing the points in 10th, Gerard Fosbury in 11th, Franco Gamma setting the fastest lap of the race, but of course he didn't finish, so no fastest lap point today. The final finishes being Maxime Titkov 12th, Lean Kafana in 13th, with the following drivers all retiring from the race: Franco Gamma, Rosetta Martinez, David Kupok, Joseph Willis, Laura Chung, Gabriel Gomez, Paulino Tomaselli, Matteo Catalan and George Roque, obviously with 4 of those cars being retiring on the first lap. Here, looking at the Drivers' Championship, Franco Lopez now extending his lead ahead of Joseph Willis in second, Franco Gamma in third, Miglas Gau moving up, tying on points with him, moving ahead of Laura Chung. Armand Carr up into 6th, but he'll still need to get many more points to get himself back in the title fight. Renault up to 8th, De Ross moving up to 10th, McKenzie up to 11th, Federi consolidating his place in the top 10 as well. Evan Byrne moving up the order with his 9th place finish ahead of Roque. Chatfield moving up with good points finish as well, but his first points finish of the season, of course. It could have been more, but still be happy with 8th. Lee Kafana moving, dropping down, I should say, behind Gerard Fosbury into 20th, despite the fact, of course, they scored no points. In the constructor standings, though, of course, Mercedes leading now ahead of Red Bull in second, Ferrari dropping down to third by just 1 point behind Red Bull. That is incredibly close there. McLaren way behind in third, Alfa Romeo just ahead of Racing Point by 1 point, 27-26. Renault moving above Toro Rosso, Haas moving now above Manor and Williams, and of course every driver every team has scored a point this season. As driver of the day was given to Felix Sontag. Definitely, I think, deserved, considering the fact he should have had a much higher finish than he did, so that is, I think, a fair reflection. But yeah, that was the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku, always entertaining, and in the wet, even more entertaining than normal. And the next round, of course, will be the Spanish Grand Prix at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you there.